Great to have with us as our guest today, Courtney Morgan, who is the head women's soccer coach there in Georgia Military College. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. First of all, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chat with us. We are doing this, by the way, recording it a little in advance. So it's played back at halftime of the Lackawanna Georgia Military College football game. So for folks who know that there is a Friday night soccer match, um, just want to explain that. So we may talk about things that don't necessarily pertain to Friday. Coach, I want to get a little information on you. I always like to, the first time I speak to a coach, get a little background, what brought you to Georgia Military College and what specifically brought you to become the head coach women's soccer wise at the college.
Yes, so I am actually been here for 12 years. Right out of college, I knew I wanted to be a soccer coach. I didn't know in what form, if that was high school, if it was club, or if it was in college. I started here as the assistant coach. I was the men and women's assistant coach for about a year and a half. And then Bert Williams gave me the opportunity to take over the women's side. And the rest was history. I decided to become a soccer coach because when I was in college, I tore my ACL the first game of a season, and it was, a sad day. And I decided, my coach came up to me and was like, I still want you to be around. I want you to kind of be like my assistant coach and just help with the girls. And throughout that season, I was like, you get paid to do this. I can do this. This is what I want to do. So it was a blessing in disguise, but that's how I got here.
As a matter of fact, that was what I was going to ask you in regards to the torn ACL. It had to be very difficult. I mean, it's your senior year, too. It's not like you've got an opportunity to come back. So, up to that point, had coaching ever crossed your mind as a possible stay around soccer kind of thing, or did it pop up based exclusively on the injury?
It had not crossed my mind at all. Being a woman, there's not, at the time there was not a lot of women coaches, so that really did not cross my mind. But him giving me that opportunity and like seeing that side of the game, really he helped with that decision. And graduating, I was able actually to come back for a half a year, so they were able to redshirt me, so I did come back for a fifth year season and finish out. And I was like, what can I do next? I got a job after I graduated in December at a high school, because high school season's in the spring, and it just kind of took off from there.
Let's go back beyond that, beyond the injury, and what originally brought about your love of the game of soccer.
Wow. I grew up in the family of soccer. Both my brothers, they are also soccer coaches, not at the college level, but they coach high in the club. My family was just a sport family. Every weekend we were at the soccer fields. I've been playing since I was 3, and I just didn't see my life without soccer. And, like I told you, 12 years ago, there wasn't a lot of women coaches. So being able to be like a leader for some of these girls and have looking up to, and it just took from there.
Now, are you originally a Georgia product?
Yeah, so I'm from Conyers, Georgia. I went to Heritage High School.
Soccer, I mean, it is growing obviously in interest across the United States, but it's not and wasn't, back in your days when you were 3 years of age, a premier sport from the standpoint of fan interest. So, I mean, is it a little unusual that you did fall in love as a Georgia product, or am I stereotyping that love of the game?
Well, no, actually, my dad grew up big baseball. His whole life was baseball and hockey. And when my 2 older brothers, he was trying to get them into baseball, and they did not like it at all. I remember the stories they would tell me that they would cry at the plate. So we had, they introduced them to soccer, and both of them fell in love with the soccer. And so my dad shifted, and, he fell in love with the game and became big into the sport as well.
I guess that could be a little problematic. If you go to the plate and you're crying, that could be an issue. in developing the game. All right, so you go to Georgia Military, 3 years as an assistant men's and women's, and then become the head coach. Thank you very much to the late, great Bert Williams. The 10 years since 2014 to this moment, now a decade there in Georgia Military College. I'm assuming, like any job, when you take over, you kind of have a plan. You want to be here at this point, you want to be there at this point. Are you where you want to be at Georgia Military College from a standpoint of the success of the women's soccer program?
I mean, I feel like we can always grow. I tell the girls every year, we start in August, and I said we need to be at our best in October. We have been pretty successful making it to the championship games a lot, but just finishing that championship game, we've had a lot of runner-ups. We've only won it twice, and just keep pushing the girls to be their absolute best when the time is right. And I say we peak. We need to peak in October. We need to be playing our best soccer in October to make it to the playoffs and eventually making it to that championship game.
2 titles, the end of the championship game. I mean, that is a huge gold star. It says something about your success there at Georgia Military College. And this year, I look at the stats, and you're in the top of the leaderboard in, all the offensive categories. You're atop the standings. You're 5-1-1, the only loss coming to a nationally ranked team. So is this, comparatively speaking, one of the better Georgia Military College teams, or would you compare it to a prior year?
I do think this team is very special. They're very strong in all aspects of the sport. Not only are they good on the field, but they're good off the field. Like, they're very nice girls. They all get along. They all, some years you have, your cliques and they separate. But in women's soccer, that's a big thing. But this team it's special in its own way because the niceness, the kindness, and the way they work together as a team, it's just, sometimes it's hard to see that, and it's just nice to see. And I'm just proud of the girls that we have this year. We have 24 on the roster, and they all support one of each other. They all work hard for one of each other. And in the JUCO level, I tell the girls every year is a new team because, we have 19 freshmen. And every year, we have a brand new team. So it's just making sure we all come in together and have the same mindset.
Where do you go to pull talent for your team? Is it exclusively Georgia? Do you go to other states, other parts of the world as well?
So our team is mostly Georgia. We do have 2 players that are not from Georgia. We have one from Florida, and we have one from Illinois. But our core group is from Georgia. We try, and we have really good parent support, and I love that about this team. We travel. Bulldogs travel. That's our motto.
I looked at the record this year, and you've got a couple of teams that you have not played yet, but as a matter of fact, you do this weekend. One you played when this is being aired last night on Friday, and then, of course, the other on Monday against Gordon. So Oxford and Gordon still to come. You are unbeaten in region play. What about those 2 teams? What do you look for?
I've told the girls we haven't completed a 90-minute game yet, and that's what I'm looking for all of them. A whole, once you get on that field, we complete a whole 90 minutes with, it's not that they're making mistakes, it's just the heart and pushing themselves. Emory and Gordon are going to be good teams, and we can't just look over them. We got to go in, and we got to play our game, and if we can do that, we should be successful.
5-1-1, and not in the top 15. And your only loss is to a top 15 team. Is Georgia Military at this particular point getting the attention they deserve from a national perspective?
I think so. Like I said, the one loss we did have, the score didn't show how the game actually went, I felt. But we didn't put together a complete game. I think if we competed a little bit better in that game, then I think we should have been in some talks. But I think I like where we are right now. We don't have targets on our back except for our conference. We have a target on our back. But I tell the girls, let people talk, and let's just finish our business on the field.
When you look at the standings, South Georgia State is the team that is second in the conference. Based on that, an outsider like me is like, okay, they're the number 2 team in the conference. Is that legitimately true? I mean, is the current status as the number 2 team, would you consider them the team Georgia Military College needs to knock off a second time as well?
At this stage, I wouldn't be able to answer that because we haven't played the same teams. Like, they've played Emory, they've played Gordon, and we've only played them. So I haven't seen the same teams we've played that they've played. So, as of right now, looking at the standings, yes, I think they are exactly where they need to be. But I only can say that because we haven't played the same teams.
What is an acceptable year for you this year at Georgia Military College? Is it a win-loss mark? Is it a certain level of play? Is it reaching a certain level postseason-wise? What's an acceptable year?
For me, it's the play mark. Are we playing our best soccer? Win and losses, I won't be mad at my team if we lose, if we're playing our game and we're playing a complete 90-minute match. The wins will come if we do that. So to me, it's continuing to grow as a team, not just one player, but all players on my team. I tell the girls, if we're not better than we were in August, then I didn't do my job right. So it's just making sure that we are playing GMC soccer and not worrying about the outside noise. And, the best thing for us would be to compete in another championship, to be able to go to the district championship in Florida.
Before I let you go, I've got to focus a little bit on individual players. Who are the standouts this year for GMC?
Well, actually, this week, Leslie Ortega was named GCA Player of the Week. Last week, she had an impressive, I think it was 3 goals and 2 assists. So, we got to give her a shout out. Our forward, Faith, she got the 2 goals against South Georgia on Tuesday night to have us in the lead for a 2-1 win. We have freshman Mackenzie Williams in goal, and she did a fantastic job on Tuesday. But yeah, it's just not 1 or 2 players. It really is a complete team. Miracle Malak, she was GCAA Player of the Year last year as a defender, which not many defenders get a lot of recognition because they're not scoring the goals. But she made such a big step where coaches would say, oh, look at her. Like, it's hard to get by her. So my goalkeeper shouldn't have to work as hard because she's smart in the game. She's fast, and she is a good leader.
Coach, congratulations. Great career already, and expecting tremendous things, not only this year, but in the future as well for Georgia Military College women's soccer. And thanks for being our halftime guest.
All right, no problem. Thank you. Go Dogs.